Hi, it's that time again. It's been a little while since I had a functioning pedal board, and my mate Ben, who you'll hopefully know from our YouTube channel Noise Merchants, who's also my best mate and the founding member of our band, um, he is very keen to get back to it after about 3 years off with obviously everything. So it's with that in mind that I am preparing to put together a functioning board once more. Using this. It's smaller than this one. Obviously, I'm not expecting to use as many effects in our band that I use at home when I'm jamming and noodling around and stuff. So the plan is to use this board to put together a more usable palette, I suppose is a good word to use, of effects. So the key here is going to be versatility, size, and also the third factor I'm kind of thinking about as well with this board is cheaper pedals. It's stuff that I don't really want to risk breaking or damaging or getting stolen, even worse. So let's try and get some pedals together and figure out a very basic initial pedal board. Okay, so I've just put together a few of the drive pedals that I've got lined up that I'm thinking of using on this board. I have currently limited myself to picking from these 5. It's going to be quite tough, I think, to narrow these down anymore because I love all of them equally. Ultimately, I'm going to have to try and focus on versatility more than anything else. So straight away, this and this are the 2 most versatile pedals out of these 5. So I'm thinking these 2 definitely. For those of you wondering, by the way, as well, this is a Flock Effects Hotakeki, which is a dual hotcake. So you've got 2 hotcakes in series, and you can set them up however you like and run one into the other. Basically covers everything from boost to overdrive to distortion and fuzz. It's amazing. This is also similarly amazing. This is the Epically Effects Train Wreck, which is a clone of the Wampler Triple Wreck, but obviously in a much smaller enclosure and with top jacks. So I can get these quite close together and save some space on my board for other stuff. As for these other 3, this is also Epically Effects. This is a Rap Bender, which is an amazing pedal. I do really love this and want to use it on my board if I can, but it's also small as well, so that's another plus. However, I'm thinking this will kind of cover a lot of the similar kind of ground that this does. Although it won't sound the same, it does kind of cover the heavier distortion stuff that I want to use this for. So, I don't know, I'm kind of torn between either using this or using this in place. I could do that. I could just use that. That might be a little bit easier to hit as well with the foot switch being a little bit further away from here. So that might be a factor to weigh in. Or I can always just move them apart and put something else in between them. I don't know. I'll probably come back to that. At this point, I'm not sure between this or this. Over here, this is the Demiurge Instruments Chroma Drive, which is another fantastic pedal. This is more of a medium gain, low to medium gain, I'd say, overdrive pedal, which also sounds fantastic. Again, I really want to have this on my board as like a kind of go-to maybe even like an always on kind of a crunchy, clean kind of a tone, like a slightly boosted always on pedal. But then I have got this that can do that. So again, I'm thinking maybe that might have to take precedence over this, as much as I love it. This is an all-out fuzz. This is a Fuzz Factory clone also from Flock Effects. So yeah, I feel like it's hard to not find a place for this, and it clearly does a lot of different stuff to both of these two. However, I've got another fuzz pedal that I might be putting on here instead of this one, which is this. So the Ranger FX Bleep is obviously a lot smaller. Top jacks somehow, no idea how they did that, and just as incredible, equally unique. And I think I'm probably going to favour this over the Fuzz Factory clone for this particular board. So yeah, those are going to be my three main pedals that make up my drive section. Moving on to the weirder stuff that I do love to have on my board. I like weird pitch shifting and oddball kind of effects. So obviously I have one of these. The SY200 came out recently, and I've definitely got my eye on one of those. In which case, this will almost definitely be going in order to partly offset the costs of getting the bigger version. But it's incredible. It's compact. It sounds incredible. Obviously, it's got 100 and I forget how many, 121 or something, different combinations of effects with all of the effect knob here, and then we've got a bunch of variations as well for each mode. So it's nuts. Obviously, I could have that there and have a whole massive effects, synth effects and stuff on the go, up in the corner here, probably first in the chain or close to it. However, again, there's a smaller pedal that I've got my eye on using for this spot, in the shape of the Moore E7. It's a slightly cheaper budget version, I guess, of a synth pedal. This one actually has presets, which is interesting, where it has a preset in each of the modes that it has, and a little bit more fiddly, perhaps, to dial in. Nowhere near as much variety as this has. However, all of the basic kind of synth sounds it has on tap here. So I'm thinking I'm going to use this instead. And obviously, being a much smaller pedal, I can fit probably two similarly sized pedals into a similar space that would occupy. So, the only disadvantage with that is this has an effects loop, so you can put the rest of your chain, or at least the rest of your drive section, in the effects loop, and then blend the synth effect with the drive of your drive section. So that's quite, I'm not quite sure 100% on whether to go this route or that route. So at the moment, I'm on the fence, because I can imagine some of the tones I would get out of blending the SY1 with these would be absolutely incredible, especially the bleep. I can imagine the bleep in parallel with all of the stuff in here would be absolutely immense. So, I don't know, I'm probably talking myself into using this now. But there's a possible, I might actually end up using both of these on here, but I'll come back to that later. So yeah, I think I'm possibly talking myself into using SY1 after all that. So for now, I think maybe we'll put that there just to cover myself, and we'll come back to that. There's a couple of other pedals I definitely want to put on here. A very important one is Polytune. My voice is starting to go, sorry. TC Electronic Polytune Noir I've had for a little while, and it's absolutely blooming brilliant. Very, very important for me, I think, to have a tuner on my board. I'm thinking that could go there between this and this, just to give me a bit more space between hitting these foot switches. That's a bit lower down as well, so it shouldn't be too difficult to hit these without suddenly muting my signal. I've got a volume pedal coming that has a tuner output on it, so I can have this always on somewhere, anywhere on my board, and then I can have the volume pedal. I could have the volume pedal here actually, so if I create a space for myself to put that, actually I've got another pedal here I could use in the meantime, just a little Sonic Cake Valois. I could use that in place of what I've got coming, which is the Soul Press 2. Very excited about that. Yeah, in which case I can then have the tuner above it or somewhere on the top row and not have to worry about hitting it on and off. This is the other one I want to put on here, the Tender Octaver Mark 1. A very rare, well, not that rare, but I suppose, but quite hard to come by. This is the Lawsuit pedal. This is what got Mua in a lot of trouble a few years back, with Electro Harmonix suing them for using their algorithm, blatantly using their algorithm in this pedal. So this is, it's not even a clone, it is an Electro Harmonix POG in a tiny box. And that's the only reason I've got it. It's like I don't approve of Mua stealing IP. However, Electro Harmonix don't make a POG this size, and Mua did. So until Electro Harmonix make one this size, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to use this one. Rather annoyingly, the TC Electronic and the Mua have their jacks in awkward opposite places, so it's not like I can just do this and then keep them close together. So that's a bit annoying. I wish there was some kind of standardized thing, but for that, oh well. I could use that together. I could put them together because obviously they're two Mua pedals. They could go quite close together somewhere up here. But we'll come back to this anyway. What I'm planning to do, potentially planning to do with that one. Anyway, let's say that's going to go there, and that's going to go there for the time being. So this is where we get onto modulation and ambience. Okay, so now I'm getting to a point where it's getting tricky because I'm starting to run out of space and I'm starting to having to make some tough calls. I might even just forget this whole board and switch up to a slightly bigger board so that I can have everything I want on it. But we'll come to that later down the line. In the meantime, this is basically just to get me through the next couple of weeks, really. So I'm trying not to overthink everything. The superego is a big part of what I use in the band. It's such a great tool to be able to have, just because of all of the drone and accompaniment sort of effects that you can have with it. So while you've got a whole bunch of other stuff going along that you're doing, you can have this doing a constant noise or a pad or all kinds of things really in the background while you're playing over it. That's one of the ways that you can use it anyway. There's a few different things you can do with this pedal, but that's how I primarily use it anyway. The trouble is, I like to have my multi-stomp in the effects loop just to give me a whole different variety of affected drones. So if this goes in the effects loop, then you can have the effects on here heard only on the drone signal that this produces. So yeah, you can see why I like the idea of having that. The trouble is, I like to have this pedal isolated in the effects loop of this pedal because I don't always want affected drone on this signal. Sometimes I just want the drone to be left alone. So yeah, that's where this pedal comes in. I use this little bypass loop pedal to isolate this the multi-stomp, in the effects loop. So the send of this goes into this. So the send return of this goes into this pedal, and then the send return of that goes into this. So then you can turn that on and off, and that kills the signal running into the multi-stomp and just basically sends the send of the superego back into itself unaffected. So yeah, so that's what I like to do normally. However, as you can see, I'm running out of space on this board, and I have to start making a couple of tough decisions. So what I'm thinking is, forget that and forget that. I know it's hard. I love my multi-stomps. Keep the superego, and instead I'm thinking, this is where I'm thinking bringing the Mua synth back, because it has a whole bunch of cool things that you can do with it. Especially what I'm thinking particularly that I like to do with this is I like to use sequencer effects on the drone, so you can have a rhythmic kind of a pattern going on. This does that, and it's a much quicker and simpler thing to turn it on and off, which basically is the same as this. So I would only basically be using the same real estate as this, but having all of the stuff that most of the stuff that I like to use this using this effects loop all in one pedal. So that's kind of my thinking. Keep that there. I don't need that either, because I usually use this with my multi-stomp as well. So getting rid of that, and having this instead. So rather drastic, but we'll see how we go on. I'm not too sure where to put this yet. Maybe, as I said before, I might work at putting this up here, and then I could just run some longer cables from this up to this. So if I keep that up there, that would be the most efficient place to put it, I think. And then maybe that a little bit higher up to make some room for the jacks to go past each other, like so. That's not going to be in the way then when I'm using the volume pedal. It's not going to matter too much what's above it if I put the tuner there. Coming back to the ambient side of things, I'm thinking about bringing on this. So this is the KMA Machines Cirrus, which is a delay and reverb pedal. It's a bit of a beast. It's got top jacks for the input and output. It has a couple of side jacks for other things as well, for an effects loop, which is quite cool, and expression pedal input, which is also very cool. Yeah, I'm thinking that would be quite nice to put there. And yeah, I can easily reach the tap switches. These are also momentary switches as well, so you can hold them down to freeze the reverb on this side and ramp the oscillation on this side. So that's quite cool. I like those features. As for modulation, I love my tremolo. I do absolutely adore it. I think the perfect place for this particular tremolo pedal to go, as I say, it's quite a cheap one, but it also has tons of functionality. It has tap tempo, which is a big plus for me. The thing it doesn't have, which is unfortunate, is a volume knob, just to give it a little bit of an extra punch, which comes in useful when you're in a live setting. But oh well, beggars can't be choosers. Yeah, but because of the tap feature, I'm thinking maybe having it at the front. But then it's quite a tall pedal, so maybe it'd be easier to have it at the back, and you could reach it easier that way over the top of whatever you have here. That might be the way to go. Also, putting it here doesn't mean that's where it's going to go in the chain, because I like my tremolo to be dead last, so you can chop everything up that's going before it. So I think that's what I'm thinking, using the tremolo right there. This is a big love of mine. I love flanger as an effect, and this is a great one. It's basically, as you can see, an Electric Mistress clone. Not a particularly accurate one from what I've heard from various people, but it does sound fantastic. I don't really care if it's accurate or not. It sounds amazing to me. and it's also got the benefit of a volume knob, so you can actually give your flanger effect a bit of an extra boost, which is cool. So I'm thinking having that there, although it's just occurred to me that this being top jacks would be the perfect pedal to put between these two. So then I can bunch these right up against each other and give myself a little bit of a helping hand reaching the foot switches. And then I've got a lot more room for my volume pedal to go here. That's what I'm thinking. Or I could move these up and then have my volume pedal further over here, because I might not be able to reach. I might struggle. I might knock the tremolo pedal with my foot if I'm using the volume pedal here. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence what to where to put this layout in order to maximise everything. I suppose I could just switch these around. Maybe that probably helps a little bit. Yeah, I like that. That kind of works. So yeah, I think that's it. I'm pretty happy with that. Look, I've got 2 synth pedals on this board. Unbelievable. Okay, so yeah, I think this is it. I'm gonna have to wire this bad boy up. I can't power it up yet because the power supply that I've ordered for this hasn't arrived yet. So stay tuned. Power supply is coming, and it will be going underneath this board. However, it will probably be temporary, as I'm also watching a couple of different pedal boards as well that are slightly bigger than this. So this may very well be coming back yet. So yeah, stay tuned. Okay, so as you can see, I had a little bit of a rejig of this thing and decided on a layout that I thought was a little bit more practical. As you can see, I've got the volume pedal position over on this side now. I think it'll be just easier to reach that way with, using my right foot. That leaves these 3 pedals, well, these 4 pedals, more centralized, and I can still reach these slightly taller pedals pretty easy, I think, on the back. It also lets me plug into the tender octaver a little bit easier, because I want that to be the first pedal in the chain. So that also helps. I'm thinking of having the Igor for the bleep, possibly velcroed, or I might just, I don't know. I'm not sure what to do with this, because it's kind of important to have this with the bleep. It just gives you like an extra kind of momentary kind of control and added craziness for this pedal. So it's good to have, but it also is kind of a ball ache trying to figure out where to actually put it. But yeah, it's a little pressure sensitive resistor. So yeah, it's just it's got 2 sides to it. It works that side and this side, but this side I think is the harder side. Like, you're supposed to press harder on that, like it's more of a foot plate, and then this one's much more sensitive, like you can just use that with your fingers. So I'm thinking if I use it that way round, maybe then I haven't got to physically like press on it, in which case I'd be like using the volume pedal too much. So we'll see how that works out. It might not work at all. I might just have to reposition this somewhere else entirely. Maybe on the SY1. No, that's not going to work. Anyway, that's basically the board. That's what I'm thinking for the layout. Full disclosure, I'm already searching online for larger pedal boards, so this might not even be sticking for very long, but certainly I think it'll last me the week. So yeah, I'm happy-ish with this board. It's just the multi-stomp that's bugging me. The absence of a multi-stomp is irritating to me. But yeah, that aside, I'm very happy, I think, with this board. I will come back to this when I've got my power supply. When that arrives, I'll be able to wire everything up, get things powered, and maybe run through some sounds just to see how I like this setup. See you soon. Okay, well, I did a thing. Yeah, so the small board, his idea has gone, and I'm now going with this. This being a Pedaltrain Novo 18, and it is about a third, well, a little bit less, no, a little bit more than a third of my Novo 42. But it's bigger than the wooden board I was using before, so I'm going to go with this for the layout that I've worked out already. But this has got a little bit more room on it, so I can get my multi-stomp back. Very excited about that. Yeah, so the plan now, because I still don't have my power supply, and we're supposed to be playing together again tomorrow night. So odds are the power supply is not going to come by tomorrow, and even if it does, I'm not going to have time to sort it out then. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to poach one of the CS12s from under there and put it under here. So I need to unscrew the mounts holding on the CS12, remove that, and then put it on this board. So before I can do that, I need to completely strip down what's left of this board. So it's a bit of a faff, but hey, we need to do it. So bear with me. I'm going to crack on with that. Right, okay, that's done. It's kind of demoralising to see so much of your hard work undone. You have to just think back to that epic video I made putting this board together, and don't worry, it's not going anywhere. This is, whatever happens, this is going to be my home board, and it will live again. But yeah, for the time being, it's going to have to take second place, I'm afraid. So that's going to now have to live behind my door for a second, and then if I bring all this Velcro, if I bring this back, now I can have a go bolting this in. So now that should be exactly the same placement. Yes. So yeah, gotta love Pedaltrain for the how uniform their designs are. So at least you know what's going to fit one board is going to fit another, pretty much. That's the thing I'm stressed about a little bit about my Harley Benton power supply that I've got coming. There's no brackets that come with it. I've seen enough people online unboxing them and talking about the contents of what comes with it and everything, and there's no brackets. So yeah, and I don't think there's anywhere that you can buy them either. So a little bit unsure what I'm going to do with that once it gets here. But for the time being, this is going to do very nicely, I think, underneath here. So I'm just going to mark roughly on here where I need to drill, and then I'm going to have at it. Oh man, okay, that's that done. So although it was like a few seconds for you, that took a little while for me. Right, that's on there pretty well. That's very secure, I'd say. That's going nowhere. Just checking the clearance is fine. Yes, of course it is. It'd be weird if it wasn't. Hey, look at that. Now, that is what I'm talking about. Now, it's time to do the fun part, which is trying to figure out how to put all the, well, obviously put all the pedals I had on the last board on here. But then, obviously, I've got more room to play with, so I can try and figure out a better layout than I had before. So, that's the fun part. We're going to do that next. Whew, okay. I think I'm done. I'm kind of, I think I'm completely happy with this layout. Okay, let me angle it around a little bit. Actually, I don't know why I'm doing it this way. Let's just take the phone off here. There we go. Okay, so let's go widescreen. There we go. So, as you can see, there's quite a lot going on in here. There's not a lot of room to plug stuff in, but I've tried to be realistic with everything. You'll notice that there's a riser here that has a lot of clearance underneath, so there should be enough room for some pedals to have the cables running underneath. So that's what I'm hoping. Yeah, I think that'll do. You know, this was a bit of a last minute addition because I basically got to a point where I had everything on here that I wanted, and I couldn't think of anything else to add on that I had room for. So this is quite a small little pedal, and I can't think of anything else I've got that's a similar size that would fit in there. So I suppose there's the wrap bender I've got there, but that's side jacks. That's not going to work. Well, it could, but I've already got my distortion covered on this particular board. So this is a little bit something different. It's more of a washy, staticky kind of fuzz thing. So it's a little bit more interesting, a little bit more unique. So I thought that might go quite well there. So there we have it. I'm going to, well, first thing I'm going to do now is Velcro some of these up, because these don't have any Velcro on them, and these don't have any Velcro on them. Neither does that. Why does that not have Velcro on? That's weird. I thought I did. And that one as well. I think it's needing some Velcro. Apart from that, everything's pretty much done. That's got Velcro on it. That's all Velcroed down, as is that. It's a little bit loose, but I've only got that kind of resting loosely on it, but I need to push that down a little bit more. Yeah, I've got my little EQ pedal, which I kind of forgot about with the last board, but it's kind of important for me to have control over the mid frequencies, just to kind of stand out a bit in the mix. So that's going, that's quite happily tucked away at the top. The tuner is going to be plugged into the auxiliary output on here, so I don't need to have anything plugged into the output of this pedal. It's just going to be the input going straight from the auxiliary output on here into there. So that's going to be always on. I can just silence my board to tune quietly, and then it'll always give me a readout of whether I'm in tune or not. And yeah, I managed to get the multi-stump back on, obviously. Very happy with that. That's going to be isolated in this loop switcher, as I've explained before. And that's isolating the effects loop of the Super Ego. So these four together are going to be basically doing a very important mix of jobs. So I'm happy with that. Up here I've got the Line 6 Duo, Tap Tremolo and Echo Park. This is going to be my main delay pedal, just because it covers such a massive amount of stuff, basically. Let me just change the screen on here so you can see it better. There we go. Look at all the modes. It's got everything you could possibly want. And then each mode has a tape, digital or analog voice to it, which is amazing. And it has tap tempo. Just pressing it lightly does the tap tempo, or pressing it down like that clicks it on and off. So it's quite a tall pedal as well, so these two are kind of ideal to put right on the back. You can easily press them on and off without hitting anything else. This also has tap tempo as well, and is going to be after the delay. Yeah, I'm happy with that. The only thing there is, I think I might struggle with the input and output jacks, but I can always do that. I should be able to get away with that, although I've got to plug the power into there, so I don't know. I'll probably have to stagger this down a bit probably. Anyway, I'm going to do that now. Well, no, I'm going to Velcro the stuff first, and then I will wire it up either after that, or I might come back tomorrow and do the wiring, because that's going to be a little bit of a job. Okay, I'm very happy with that. Woohoo! I will see you tomorrow when it's all finished and I can play through some sounds. Well, board is done, sort of. Every time, I think we all have this, every time I set up a board, there's something wrong. There's usually either a dead cable somewhere, or a pedal I've accidentally plugged the wrong cables into, and I have to spend a while troubleshooting, trying to find what the problem is. That didn't happen on this board initially. I plugged everything in. Everything, as you saw already, works. All the LEDs come on and There's no problems there. Everything seems to be as it should be. However, there was a slight issue when I hit on one of the gain pedals. So I will demonstrate. Okay. Ignore the out of tune guitar. So everything on here works fine. I'm not worried about that. The problem comes when you hit the gain on, as I said. And initially I just thought that's normal when you daisy chain. Sometimes one of the pedals isn't happy in the chain and you get some electrical kind of interference. That happens a lot. I'm not too concerned. All I need to do is find out what the problem pedal is that's causing that noise in the chain and remove it, isolate it, whatever. So I did that and didn't solve the problem. So I thought, okay, that's weird. Maybe it's the pedal. Because this one in particular, this is a new one. I had tried it when I first got it and it was perfect. But I thought maybe I missed something, maybe it was making that noise before. I took that pedal off the board, tried it elsewhere, works fine, no noise, no problems again, so it's not that. The only thing I can think it might be was the fact that the drive pedals are all in the loop of the SY1. So I thought maybe if I power the SY1 separately from the drive pedals, that might help. Didn't do a thing. So I thought maybe if I take these out of the loop of the synthesizer, that might solve the problem. Nope, I swapped this pedal with the volume pedal, which isn't in the loop at all. It's just in the regular chain. Tried it again and still got that noise. So I don't know if it's a problem with my CS12. I don't think so though, because everything else seems to be working fine. I don't know. I'm going to have to carry on troubleshooting this over the next few days, I think. But I haven't really got time to worry about that right now because I've got our band practice tonight. So I've just been out for the day. I'm just going to have to get changed, pack this all up and get going, basically. So I don't think it's going to be too bad in the context of playing the band. Like, you're not going to hear that in the middle of in the middle of playing, and as long as I turn it off when I've finished, then it won't be too bad. And the bleep has a noise gate built in, so you turn that on, you don't hear anything. So yeah, the noise gate's helping there a lot, I think. I assume that you would still hear a interference noise with that pedal as well if it didn't have one. I don't know. It's kind of a head scratcher. I'm not 100% sure what's going on. I will, I think, have to tear this board halfway down at least, just to sort out this kind of whole corner and try and figure out what the noise issue is. But yeah, as I said, I'm happy for the time being. Generally speaking, layout wise, I'm really happy. This is probably one of the most satisfying boards I've had for a while, and I'm really looking forward to using it later. Yeah, it's got pretty much everything that I like to use in one very small, for me, one very small kind of location. Everything's easily accessible. The volume pedal's on a riser, as you know, so I can easily get to that because I use swells quite a lot. And it's just useful to be able to kill your signal, tune or whatever. my EQ pedals on there so I can push whatever frequencies I need to stick out in the mix. I'm going to be using my Firebird, so the mini humbucker in that is quite mid-focused, so I'm thinking I've got this set up to kind of push the higher frequencies a bit more, just to kind of stand out a little bit more. We'll see how that goes. I'll probably have to tweak a little bit, but we'll see. Yeah, generally speaking, I'm happy, but it's not quite perfect. So I will continue on with it until it is. But for now, I'm going to have to leave it here, I think, and maybe do a part 2 later down the line of this board, maybe in another couple of weeks or something. Okay, let's pack this lot up, get to band practice, and yeah, if I don't see you before then, thanks for watching, and see you again. Okay, I think I've got everything sorted, everything's together. Just about to head off to our first rehearsal in about 3 years. So yeah, wish me luck.
That's it, song done.
Yeah.
Song done.
Song done, yeah. Got one in the car.